Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I'm going to be talking about Conception episodes 5 and 6. Last episode ended off with Itsuki giving Eri a present that Mana had got for him to give to her, and it in containing a whip that Eri used to whip Itsuki. This episode obviously opens up with Itsuki in the dungeon, having just completed another floor. We're not going to get back to Eri until the second half of this episode. While we're in the dungeon, we get the news. Like, Mana explains that we're about 1/4 of the way through. So, in the game, there are, 12, final floors of the dungeon. Like, there's a few lower floors that you have to get through to get to, the 12 main ones to sort of progress. So what would that be? 3? 3 times 4 is 12. So, yeah. So, he's completed 3 main boss stages of the dungeon so far, all off screen. We're not going to get to see any of that. This anime doesn't really focus on that. It's all about the girls. We don't have time to show fighting. We have to show the characters because that's our selling point here. And then after that, of course, it's time for a beach episode. We're halfway through the anime about we need a beach episode. But also, we have to cram a lot of stuff into these 12 episodes, so we can only afford to have the first half be a beach episode, and the second half is going to be just back in town. So yeah, half this episode is a beach episode. We're introduced to a new character called Seiya, who I think is a student at the academy that, all the girls go to. I think, because he's apparently been hitting on all the Star Maidens. He is a model, I think, is what they said. If he's not a model, he loves to take pictures of himself and share them. So he's trying to be a model, at least, if he isn't already. So yeah, we head to the beach, and he's also heading to the beach. And we learn that the Star Maiden that he's sort of going after right now is Lilith, who is sort of the focus of the first half of this episode. One thing I liked about this beach episode, again, I keep calling it a beach episode. It's only half a beach episode. Everybody comes, right? All the girls come, but also Alfie, who we haven't really seen much of. She's the one that's in charge of the Star Children, and the Star Children come. Something that happens in these 2 episodes is the Star Children start popping up a bit more. In the games, you don't really, they're not characters. They're just little random goblins that you get, and then you fight, and then you get rid of them, and then you get new ones. But we see them hanging out at the beach. We don't really get much interaction with them. We don't really have time for that. Again, we have half an episode at this beach. We can't focus on any characters besides the main ones. So we get a brief montage of all the other girls doing stuff at the beach. And then we have Itsuki approach Lilith, or Lily. I don't remember which form is which. So Lilith, her whole thing is she's got 2 personalities, and one of them's got blue hair and is sort of meek and kind, and the other one has pink hair and she is loud and sort of abrasive, right? Cool. They switch whenever they get bonked on the head, or I guess just shocked or surprised, or apparently they can just sort of force it out, because I think in this episode Lilith forces Lily to come out. I think Lily's the pink-haired one and Lilith's the blue-haired one, but I don't know. Anyway, so Itsuki approaches her to see sort of how she's holding up with, Seiya bugging her or whatever, even though we don't really see much of that. And so we get a little conversation between them, and Lilith explains that she is a fortune teller. She talks a bit about Seiya, how he's looking for love, and he had her read his fortune to see who his fated partner would be. And she saw that the only person that he really loves is himself. So Seiya is a narcissist. We talked about that. Itsuki talks about how he doesn't really believe in fortune telling, and then Lilith's like, "I'll prove you right. My fortunes are never wrong." And then she reads his fortune, says that he's gonna die. Well, she doesn't say. She brings out the pink-haired personality, Lily, to explain that he's going to die. And then, oh boy, the switching back and forth is kind of getting confusing in my head. Then Lilith comes back, and explains that her fortune telling is never wrong, but also she can use that knowledge of the fortune she saw to change it. So she can see the future, and she's never wrong about the future, but she can change the future, which would then make her prediction wrong? The whole fortune telling thing is just a mess. I'm not big into fortune telling. I don't understand. But, like, I don't know. Itsuki's not going to die. He can't die. Like, this isn't the show for that. So we know that's not going to happen. Lilith says she's going to help him not die, and Itsuki says, you can help me by... Oh no, I think actually it was Lilith or Lily that brought up doing the love ritual, wasn't it? I think that's right. I don't remember exactly, but we do the love ritual, and there's our first half of the episode. Check off Lilith and Lily. They're done. There was a fun gag with them, though, where, again, they swap back and forth, like, when they get a bonk on the head. So, again, I think Lily's the pink-haired one. The pink-haired one sort of is upset, and she just sort of goes off and is, like, tapping herself on the head with her left and right hand, just one after the other, right? So, like, left, right, left, right. And each time that happens, we see them swap back and forth between Lilith and Lily. I think that's fun. I think the characters in this show are fun, but, like, because there's so many and because we have so few episodes, like, we just gotta blast through them. So some that are neat kind of get the short end of the stick. Like, Lilith and Lily here really got the short end of the stick. Farun got breezed over a couple episodes ago. So did Rione. Like, and it's unfortunate, but I guess what are you gonna do? So that's the end of the beach episode. Next up is Eri. We're finally getting back to that. Last episode we learned that she's got a secret room in the church, and she's got a bit of a she's a bit of a sadist, right? This episode we learned she's a bit of a weapons freak. She went to a blacksmith, got a naginata, said it was for Itsuki, though I don't think she ever gives it to him. I think maybe she tried. I don't remember. But we see that the secret room that she has in the church is actually just a stash of weapons, like all kinds, like swords and naginatas and this and that. So we learn about that, and then we get a bit more with Seiya. He's going to be here for a minute, apparently. So Seiya goes to the church to basically ask Eri for, like, advice or help, which she gives him, and then Eri, in exchange, asks Seiya to, like, use the naginata she bought, like, so she could just watch him, like, swing it. I don't know, she's a weapons freak. She doesn't use the weapons, but she likes watching people swing them around, I guess. It's a weird fetish to have, but okay. I do think the whole her having this affinity for weapons is a neat little character thing. It's a weird one for the material, though. Like, in Conception, the game, it's an RPG where you talk to girls, make star children, and then go fight in the dungeons. None of the girls go into the dungeons in Conception, so I don't know if the Eri really liking weapons is a thing in the game. I didn't get that far, but if it is, it's a strange quirk to have for someone that doesn't actually do battle. Like, if she had, like, in Conception 2, they make it so you can bring the girls into the dungeon with you. If she had been able to do, like, if she was in that game, her being a weapons freak it would make a bit more sense. Not that it's, like, weird. It's just strange, right? You give a character that can't be used in combat a interest in weapons and stuff. It's odd, but it's interesting. So Eri's having Seiya swing the naginata around. He, of course, is shirtless, and there's a spill, and he slips and falls on Eri, at which point Itsuki comes in and sees a shirtless Seiya who has been apparently harassing the Star Maidens on top of her. And we breeze past that. Like, one thing about this show is we got so much to do in so little time. Like, we don't get a half an episode about, like, oh no, Seiya assaulted Eri. It's like, no, we got 45 seconds to deal with this. Let's carry on. So we don't harp on that. We move past it pretty quick. Like, it's only a minute or two. And then after that, we have Itsuki then holding the naginata and swinging it around at Eri's request. And Seiya, again, the maybe model, taking a bunch of pictures of him. And then we go to the love ritual with Eri, at which point she pulls out the whip that she had received last episode. And then we get like a little after credit scene where Seiya gives the photos to Eri, and it's hinted that Seiya may be in love with Itsuki now. Not even hinted. I think like Mana basically straight up says it, that he's got a thing for Itsuki now. So we'll see where that goes. I don't really remember. But that's episode 5. Episode 6. Episode 6 is a weird one. Alright, so it starts with Itsuki going to see Colette. Colette is the blonde girl. She is a baker. She is running her grandfather's bakery while he's sick. And Itsuki goes to basically make star children, get close to her so he can make star children. And she basically calls him out on this, basically says, like, the only reason you're even here is because you need to be. And he comes up with like a not very convincing reason, and she just sort of smiles and, all right, yeah, you can help, like, you're being really nice about it, but like, she understood, and like, it makes sense. Like, he is obviously just getting close to all these characters to complete his task. But so he helps out at the bakery for a while. Sales are not going well. Nobody's showing up. We get like a moment where Colette sort of talks about how she does want to be a baker, right? She's not just here because her grandfather's sick. She wants to make bread that people will like. And then Alfie again shows up and brings along the Star Children. So we see them again, and they just buy a bunch of bread. And then we get two goons, like mafia-like people. Like, they're like, one's like a red Oni and the other one's like a blue elf-looking guy. They come in to harass Colette to try and get her to sell the bakery so they can put a new shop here. And so we learned that that's sort of why there aren't customers here, because we got the mob harassing us. And at which point the Star Children bully the two grown monsters, and they run out of the shop crying, which was fun. It's just like a silly little joke, but it was funny. I liked it. And then we learn about, lunch packs. I don't know what a lunch pack is. The name made me think it's just like a pre-made lunch, but like the clip they showed of people eating it, it looked like just like a pouch with some food in it. I don't know what it is. I would not eat a lunch pack. They did not look particularly good. So lunch packs are really popular, which is why people aren't buying bread. Mana informs Itsuki that the company that owns or that makes lunch pack is Femiruna, another Star Maiden's family. So Itsuki goes to Femiruna to try and get her to stop. I don't remember his exact goal, but he's trying to help Colette. And so he goes to Femiruna and says, hey, you gotta help me here. And Femiruna is pretty calm about it and says, like, I can't just hurt business to help your friend. Like, I feel bad for her, but like, I can't do that. Itsuki persists, and then Femiruna falls and smacks her head on a table. At which point Itsuki freaks out and allows himself to be tricked by Mana into kidnapping her. This is the silliest part of the show. The whole Femiruna gets kidnapped and then gets Stockholm Syndrome to then do the love ritual with Itsuki. And like, it's not even like me like, oh wow, he kidnapped her, haha, she has Stockholm Syndrome. No, Mana comes out and says, like, Stockholm Syndrome is what we're going for here. We're trying to get her to fall for Itsuki this way. And it's just ridiculous. So Itsuki kidnaps her. He somehow is convinced to wear a bag over his head so Femiruna doesn't know it's him. And then he's just giving her Colette's bread, because Colette also wasn't very smart in this situation and said, yeah, you can use my storage room to keep her until she gets better for some reason. No, don't go to the doctor. Go to Femiruna, or go to Colette's bakery to keep her. Like, it's bizarre. This whole uh, event. Um, so he kidnaps Femiruna. He's keeping her locked in Colette's storage thing, trying to feed her Colette's bread. And there's like a funny gag where she's been there for days. He's kidnapped her for days at least, because he tries to give her a bunch of bread that she never eats. And like, she was looking at the bread, she was really hungry, her stomach was growling, and so she just turns away to not look at it. And then Colette just casually walks into her storeroom to grab some like ingredients and then walk out. There's also this dumb gag where Femiruna just got kidnapped. She's like, okay, I gotta get away. I gotta find a way out of here. And there's like a little, I don't even know what it is. It's like a little half door. Like, I don't know. It's only like 2 feet wide, 1 foot tall, maybe, with a little sliding thing that looks outside. It's weird. I don't know what it is. But she opens that and she just sees nothing, just an empty field. Why? Because she's looking out the back. Like, the bakery is right in town, but she's looking out the back and she sees nothing. So she thinks she's just in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, eventually, Femiruna is starving. Itsuki takes off the paper bag and scolds her, says, "Why aren't you eating? You need to get better, blah, blah, blah." And then it's over. And then she's in love with him. And there's like a little montage of him like feeding her and them getting closer, and it's just weird. But that's how he gets Femiruna, and he does the love ritual, and that's great, I guess. It's just bizarre. This whole series of events is just strange, but silly, and makes it pretty fun, in my opinion. We don't get Colette's love ritual in this episode. We're carrying that over to the next one again. So yeah, that was the episodes. They were fun. I like the Femiruna getting kidnapped thing. It's so silly. I love it. But yeah, another couple. I'm putting good in quotes. It's not a great show, but I really, really like it. So yeah, good episodes. I'll see you guys next time.